In the global village of conflicting ideologies and complexities, understanding systems and schemes through awareness and social reconstruction becomes expedient.
They never told you how you offended them?
I'm not on trial, so I can't go before
Join the radio man, Edmond Obilo, on state affairs for local and international politics, security, extensive economic analysis, interviews, and world power play.
Nigerians must choose the path they want to follow. Follow the same looters and sponsors of violence who control the political structures or encourage the formation of a new leadership team.
Be a global citizen and join the radio revolution on State Affairs. State Affairs with Edmond Obilo. Radio just got deeper. State Affairs with Edmond Obilo is live.
Here we go!
State Affairs with Edmond Obilo is live. Stay tuned.
Good morning from this side of time. Do you know what it feels like to be on top of the mountain, taking a clear look at the world? Give it a trial. Do you know what it feels like to speak from the top of the mountain, echoing the voices of the beautiful birds of the sky? Do you know what it feels like? Do you know what it feels like speaking to the world with the cool breeze of Africa caressing your lips? With the green vegetation of Africa giving strength to your voice? Do you know what it feels like? As I sit here, as I dream from here, as my voice echoes from this direction of Africa, I am full of hope. I'm full of dreams. The night was so beautiful. I had conversations with the gods of time. What a beautiful night. I had dinner with the stars in the sky. They were so welcoming. I slept in the sitting room of the moon. I am refreshed. Why do I fly so high? It's the beauty of my mind. Why have I come again this morning? It is my work. What have I got to say? It is my script. Hey, the radio man is here. The radio man has come. Are you there? Welcome to our class of politics and power. A class of history. Welcome to my word. It is Splash 105.5 FM, the Integrity Station. The program is State Affairs. I am Edmond Obilo. Say hello to the radio, man. I was reading a book. The book is entitled Shoemaker, Joe Foster. He's telling the story of time. Yes, I was talking about Joe Foster, telling a story about how he built one of the world's biggest shoe companies. The book is about the story of Reebok from its co-founder, Joe Foster. And reading the book, I am inspired. There's something about shoes that thrill me. I also bought another book on shoes. It is called Shoe Dog by Phil Knight, a memoir by the creator of Nike. You say, hey, radio man, what is it about shoes? Don't forget, Jonathan had no shoes. Perhaps someday I will make shoes for you. I like shoes. What do you like? And what are you doing about those things you like? What are those things you do that make you happy? How do you intend to grow them? Are you still waiting for government to rescue you? You waiting? Wait no more. Rescue yourself. The more you wait, the angrier you become. Break away from the tyranny of leadership. Fly. You've got wings. Use them. This tyranny of leadership will be corrected in the days to come. Late Nigerian scholar Claude Ake captures one of the reasons for the crisis of the Nigerian state when he said that a society where a high degree of economic inequality exists must necessarily be repressive. Are you with me in this class? Let's look at the lines together. A society where a high degree of economic inequality exists must necessarily be repressive. The Nigerian society is an example of a land where economic inequality exists in its greatest proportion. And it is such a repressive society. Ake continues saying, those who are economically privileged tend to be interested in preserving the existing social order. That is the point I want you to take home from this class. Please put this in your head. Those who are economically privileged tend to be interested in preserving the existing social order. you can see Nigerian democracy is getting worse. Because those who are benefiting from it want it to get worse so that they will remain in power. That is what will keep them in power. They want to impoverish the largest majority so that they will remain in power. That is what keeps them in power. What are you doing about that? You will just allow that to continue? Ake says, insofar as there is extreme economic inequality in a society, that society can't have political democracy. Hey, are you here? Look at it. It says, insofar as there is extreme economic inequality in a society, that society cannot have political democracy. Hey, you know, political democracy is also above going to cast your vote. It's just part of it. At some point, we will have to change the social structure of society. And we will do that. We will change it. We will redefine the social structure of society. Put society on the pedestal of wealth redistribution. We will do it. Have no fear. We will do it. From the top of the mountain, I speak with my mind. From the top of the mountain, I see your pains. I see your helplessness. But the way to go is to redefine the social structures of society. We will do it. Some have called for restructuring. Have you wondered why they are refusing? You know, Tinubu is the one benefiting now from presidential power. Don't be surprised when he begins to resist the call for restructuring, because the system is benefiting him. It's on that chaotic system that he rose to power. He will want to maintain it, to maintain its relevance. Yes. Another aspect of society that calls for attention is the ability for society to create visionary leadership. It is key at all times, in all facets of our national life. It is important that society continue to maintain the urge for redemption. I've got a story to tell. That story will come from the voice of a miner. The story of a miner will also help you understand the social structures of society. I've always made the point that our testimonies of the future are the thoughts of our minds and the works of our hands. If our actions are guided by the virtues of honesty, love, and innovation, we will move from the grounds of hopelessness to the pinnacles of progress. It's our mind, our ability to stir up new thinking, to bet a state of our own. Such thinking is not wishful, but a product of calculated attempts to make the state a means to attaining sustainable progress for all. This vision of society is the work of a leadership and a followership that breaks the limitations of tribe, religion, and poverty. It is propelled by a worldview of self-belief and determination. I am calling for visionary thinking, visionary leadership. Arise and shine. Have no fear. Everything good will come. Last week, I talked about Governor Seyi Makinde taking decisive action to safeguard the lives and properties of residents of Oyo State. The reason the governor signed Executive Order 001-2024 to address the handling and storage of harmful substances across the state. And that order is in response to the tragic explosion that occurred in Ibadan on the 16th of January, resulting in fatalities and significant damage. Last week, I also mentioned the question of rebuilding trust, bridging the gap between the people and government in Nigeria. And the point I made in that note is that there has been a palpable deficit of trust between the people and the government in Nigeria, and the reason is clear: social inequality, economic inequality. The erosion of trust has weakened the bond that should exist between the governed and those entrusted with governance, hindering our collective progress and prosperity. Last week, Governor Makinde also went ahead to make a point clear and loud. What did he do? He suspended a traditional ruler in the state, and it is connected to illegal mining in Oyo State. Illegal mining here, illegal mining there. What is it about? Let me remind you of this. In what the Oyo State government has called Operation Stillwater, the army and other security agencies stormed the forest in Okiogun to rout illegal miners. Have you asked yourself, what is this talk about illegal mining? What is it about? How is it done? Have you been able to capture the picture? What are they mining? What can we do with these solid minerals? Have you asked yourself, why are we poor? I have been researching on the mining. Let's take it up from this point. I want to bring back Dotun Oyelade to introduce the subject of this class, and I've titled the class Mining for Development or Destruction. That is the title of today's class. Mining for Development or Destruction. Let's unravel that sector. Let's begin the story. You see, we have relied so much on oil, but mining is a gold mine for us. The riches that can accrue from mining is mind-boggling. And people are harnessing this money illegally. Politicians are involved. So when you hear about illegal mining, don't just think of some criminals somewhere. Some of your political leaders are involved. They are deep in it. So Dr. Oyelade, the Commissioner of Information, will introduce this class. He will take us into mining. He will tell us the story of Operation Stillwater. Then, President Bola Tinubu will not put icing on the cake. Hello, Mr. Commissioner.
In the middle of December, the state governor had been working on a particular project. It is called Operation Stillwater. He's been working with the Nigerian Air Force, with the permission of Abuja, the federal government, of course. The governor has been working with the army and, of course, our own local architecture here, the Amotekun and Operation Burst. We've been working together to comb the Oyo National Park of illegal miners who resided there. So for many weeks, all these security men were there with the full encouragement of the state government to ensure that they are rooted, especially because of occurrences like this. And I can report to you that that operation was successfully carried out by all the security arms I've described. As a matter of fact, the day the state government had its annual Christmas mega chorus day, which was December 21, the governor attended in the evening. And by 10 o'clock, around midnight actually, he left for Igbeti, the location of the operation, to root out all these illegal miners. He got there at 4:30 a.m. Okay? When he got there, all the security leaders were already waiting for him, the GOC, the commanders, and he was briefed. The operation was carried out and it was very successful. So it is a preemptive measure and it is a symptom and a sign that out of his own good judgment, he had been able to see ahead and to be proactive in ensuring that illegal miners do not fester in this horizon. Unfortunately, we had what we had last Tuesday night.
Yes, I saw a video of you covering that operation in the Okyogun axis. Were any of these illegal miners arrested in that operation?
Yes, about a dozen of them.
Who are they? Where are they from?
Mostly from the north.
They are Nigerians?
Not all of them, but you will permit me not to speak about any form of fatality. It is not in my purview to so do.
These illegal miners, who are those behind them?
Let's call them businessmen. But the truth of the matter is, yes, they are here in Oyo State, and they use, they are very dangerous people, well armed and prosperous, rich. Don't forget that they are not only in Oyo State, they are in ports of other states, even in the southwest. Because it is anywhere they can find these mineral resources that they go to. They are in Osun, in Oshu.
Artisanal miners are everywhere.
In the middle of December, the state governor, well armed and prosperous, rich. Don't forget that they are not only in Oyo State, they are in ports of other states, even in the southwest. Because it is anywhere they can find these mineral resources that they go to. They are in Oshu area, for instance. They have literally taken over the economy and the place. We are not going to allow that to happen here. That's the resolution of His Excellency, Governor Seyi Makinde.
State Affairs with Edmond Obilo is live.
That's the Commissioner of Information of your state. I had that interview with him 3 weeks ago. Now, the Speaker of the Economic Community of West African States, the Speaker of the Economic Community of West African States Parliament, Mohamed Tunis, has revealed a startling reality. He said Nigeria is losing a staggering 91% of its potential revenue from the mining sector due to illegal activities. Speaking at the commencement of a crucial 3-day seminar themed Illegal Mining and its Implication in the ECOWAS region, Tunis underscored the severity of the issue. He highlighted that a significant 80% of mining activities in Nigeria's northwest region occur outside the bounds of the law, resulting in massive revenue losses for the nation. I have a miner to tell a story. I call him the Nasarawa miner. The Nasarawa miner gave me a 1 hour 30 minutes interview. I can also call him an artisanal miner, the small scale miner. So he takes us into mining. Let's begin the story from here. Nasarawa miner on State Affairs. Miners are everywhere in Nigeria.
Yes.
From your experience, majority of them, do they come from the communities where the mining take place, or you have foreigners from other places?
Even Oyo State, in Oyo State, in Okiogun, I met Gambians, I met Malians, I met Gambians. Gambians dominate Oyo State and the Malians because of our gemstones. The Gambians and the Malians, they are in Okiogun. They spread themselves over, in Okiogun. So mainly, the Northerners dominate the liberal work in Okiogun.
Are we talking about Northerners from a particular tribe?
No particular tribe. Northerners generally dominate the laboring work when it comes to, labor in Okiogun. North Central, Northeast, Northwest, everyone is in Okiogun.
If the Northerners dominate the laborer work, who are the main businessmen controlling the mining sites?
The main businessmen controlling the mining site are mainly we have the people, spending the money. We have foreigners who are not Nigerians doing that. Somehow maybe some Chinese, Gambians, Malians, or Igbo man or a Yoruba man.
Now tell me, when you say laborers, what do the laborers do?
Laborers are the one that digs the pit. After the excavation of the overbody, when the excavator have done his own work, excavator is to pack all the sand for us to get to the basement of the material, for us to see the material. After the excavator have done his own work, then the laborers get into the pit, then chisel the material out of the pit. They use chisel, hammer, and so on, digger, to bring out the materials. from the pit.
How deep can these pits be?
Eh? There are some pits that is 100 meters.
Did you
So
say?
we have 200 meters. There are some pits, they operate, let me be sincere with you, there are some pits they operate, when you enter the pit, there will be generator for electricity where they will be frying akara under the pit. You will see a brutal under the pit. It depends on how the mining site is, producing. When the mining site is producing very well, when the mining site produces very well, maybe it produces in large quantity, then you will know anything can go on under the pit, because under the pit you will see where people light their candle, they sleep. Inside the pit, people sleep inside the pit, people on generator inside the pit, people create room inside the pit.
Wait, inside the ground, you are talking about 100 meters.
Yes.
And people are living inside as miners.
Yes. Some people are not even miners. They just came there to sell their, maybe selling their cigarettes, alcohol, and so on. And they are inside the pit with the miners.
How do they get inside the pit?
they will get inside the pit now. Through the help of the laborers. They will get inside the pit.
So
through the help of the laborers. The laborers will help you to get, to find your way inside the pit. That one is certain.
Tell me, how do you go into the pit? How do you go into the pit?
Me?
Yes.
And me, through the help of the laborers. I think I've gone into pit. I have a video of myself entering the pit. So I did the video for how do I say it? But mainly when you want to go into the pit, it is the laborer that will tell you where to follow. Follow this way, step down, follow this way, step down, follow this way. So some of them will help you to protect you to go into the pit. And there will be a form of ladder. There will be some pits, they create it in form of ladder. Are you with me, sir?
I'm with you.
Yeah, there are some pits that they create. They will do this. Layers of sand, which will represent ladder. So you can just use that to step into the pit. But mainly what we practice and what some miners like to practice is tunnel mining, because we have two types of mining: open cast and tunnel mining. Open cast mining, you won't have problem to go into the pit because it's just just an open surface whereby you will see everything that is going on. But when it comes to tunnel mining, you have to go on the ground that you won't see anything that is going on at the top again. You won't see anything that is going on again.
What are the dangers of going into the tunnel? Do people die in the process?
The tunnel used to collapse sometimes. And so many people have lost their life through that process, to be sincere. When the tunnel collapse, it is just, let me be sincere with you, it is just automatic burial, because no need of digging ground and bury and be digging down to put the remains again. So it is just automatic burial. So we don't normally pray for that, especially when the miners, the artisans that decorate the pit doesn't know about when they don't know about shocking of the pit very well. There are some shocks that they use to shock the pit so that it won't collapse. So when the artisans doesn't know about shocking of the pit, it usually occurs that the pit will now collapse. And when it collapses like that, it's frustrating, my brother.
Have you experienced a collapse pit?
I have not experienced it, but there was a time I was working, the time I was in Nasarawa. So I saw some people that gathered on the pit. So I was asking them what is going on. So they told me the pit collapsed, and there are some laborers, about 5 laborers. About 5 laborers were perished in the pit.
That was automatic burial, as you say.
To be sincere, my brother, to be sincere. And the money they are getting the money the laborers are getting for their labor is not commensurate to the work they are doing. We must be sincere. It's not commensurate with the work they are doing, the laborers. Not only the laborers, including me that I'm talking, because the money we are selling the materials to the Chinese in Lagos is not commensurate to the risk we are facing on the work. It's not commensurate. Only Chinese people controls the mining industry in Nigeria. They control the mining industry only because we don't have a visionary leader. So all our raw material is taken out raw. We are not any process. It's not going through any process. We produce it. They take it out raw. So that is the problem.
We'll come to the Chinese because that is an interesting area. But before that,
okay.
At what point do you begin to use dynamite?
Yes. Dynamite is being used when the excavator cannot dig the ground further, and we jam a rock that the laborers are tired. When the rock is too hard for laborers, there is no option. We have to use dynamite. There's no option.
How do miners get the dynamite?
Miners get dynamite through, let me be specific, in Okiogun area, when I was working under a company there. When I partnered with the company there, I discovered the dynamite is being sold. It's very cheap. They used to sell it, they sell it just by the roadside in the Werede area. We call that place Werede when I was in Okiogun. Werede. They sell it, and even if you don't see, if you want to buy it directly from the dealer, they will take you just to a dilapidated building. So mainly, me, specifically, I don't know where the people get it. The dealers, they are selling, I don't know where they get it from, but the people selling dynamite to companies in the Okiogun area, I think, when you see them, you believe, these people, to be sincere, there is no protection, no serious. Government have to look into the sector of dynamite seriously, because the people they just carry the tobacco bag on the street, or they keep it in a dilapidated building where they are sleeping, where they are living. They keep it there, and then you meet them there, you buy it, then take it to the site.
Just like that?
Yes. Yes. When you are talking like this, sir, take a look at the people digging wells in Oyo State, in Ibadan precisely. When you are digging well, even tomorrow as we are talking, you can just go out when they are when you see laborers digging well. When they eat rock, when they are digging wells, it is just within twinkling of an eye when they eat the rock, when they are digging well. They will now tell the owner of the well that they can't continue. There's a rock that they can't go on with the digging, so they have to blast. So they will demand for money. Maximum they demand for 5,000, 10,000 to buy the blasting material. And when you give them the money within 1 hour, you give them the money when you are digging well. You will see them. They have come back. They brought the dynamite to blast the rock for them to continue digging. So I think there is no maximum security on the dynamite. There is no security. There is no government. Government have to look into the process of selling the dynamite.
How dangerous can a dynamite be?
A dynamite, in the mining industry, we call it amala. Have you seen it before?
I've only seen it on television.
Hello? Okay. In mining industry, because it looks like paste. It looks like paste. So they tie it in the nylon. We call it amala. So it is size by size. I think when they drill the ground and put the amala, which is the dynamite, on the ground to blast a rock, I've seen where a dynamite threw up a stone from the pit. The stone will weigh about 500 kg. Yes. A single stone, half a ton. For you to know how powerful a dynamite is, that is what I'm telling you. It from the pit, the stone will fly up. So mostly when they want to blast like that, at the mine site, you have to move away from the blasting site. You have to leave the environment before you can blast. Before the blasting will be done. Before the laborers will put the blasting and put light and run out of the pit. Are you with me?
I'm with you.
They put when they have inserted the dynamite inside the hose, the drilled hose. So they will now put fire. But now they stop using fire because some laborers have died through the process of using fire. So now they use battery and wire to ignite the blasting. So mainly we do buy very long wire so that once they insert all the dynamite in the hose, you leave the premises, then go and use the battery, go and use the wire to touch the battery head. The positives are negative, then you hear the sound.
What is the sound like?
Mr. Edmond, the sound when I had the incident that happened in Ibadan, I pity the people in that environment, to be sincere, because the sound the sound depends on the amount of dynamite inserted in the hose, inserted in the drilled hose. So the sound, I don't know how to explain this, but the sound when you hear the sound, it can block the hair. So the sound can block your hair if you are not careful. It is the same like bomb. It's just like bomb. I mean, I don't know how to explain. The sound, it will. I mean, when the sound blew up, it's not funny. It's not funny at all because sometimes when we blast like that, you continue to hear the sound for complete 5 minutes after the blasting.
This dynamite that when it goes off sounds like a bomb is sold on the streets of Okyogun. That's the point you are making.
Yes.
So I can just walk up to the seller and say I want to buy dynamite.
They would have known you be a miner because before they can sell to you.
Okay.
They must have known you. Yes, being a miner, you must have. I mean, being the first time self, you can't go. A laborer has to follow you to them and introduce you that this is a new miner in the area. They just came. They are the one operating so pit over there. Then, I think from there, they can sell to you.
State Affairs with Edmondo Bilo is live.
That's the beginning of the story. That is the Nasarawa miner telling the story of mining. Banditry in mining sites? You want to know about that? The plots, the conspiracies, the politics, the power about mining? Did you know that Congo is in dire crisis today? It is because of minerals, solid minerals in Congo. Will Nigeria become Congo? The theme of this edition of State Affairs is mining for development or destruction. The Nasarawa miner has started his story. Another expert miner will also tell his story. We'll do the analysis, place the facts on the table. You can listen to me on Instagram. I'm streaming on Instagram. Go on Instagram, search for the Radio Man. That's Edmondo Bilo on Instagram. You can listen to me. You can listen to me on Facebook. On all my Facebook pages, search for Edmondo Bilo. On State Affairs page on Facebook, we are streaming. I'm streaming on X. Search for Edmondo Bilo. On X, that's Twitter. I'm streaming there. On LinkedIn. Have you downloaded State Affairs app? I'm streaming on State Affairs app. Download the app on Google Play Store. On Apple Store. Search for Edmondo Bilo. State Affairs with Edmondo Bilo on Google Play Store, on Apple Store. I'll be back. Let me hand over to Bosun at the other side of Africa. Hello, Bosun. Let's do it together. It is about politics and power. there have been insinuations that those occupying that said building are not Nigerians. Do you have any clue about that?
There are indications that they are not. Even the Landlord and Resident Association had also given hints to say, oh, what we are aware is that the person that rented this house is a Malian. So some other information will follow. But of course, while there is no law that says foreigners cannot live in Nigeria, we can't say on the basis of that we should condemn all foreigners.
Has investigation revealed that there were persons in that house at the time of the explosion? Or is it that they left the house before the explosion?
Like I've told you, it's a process that is ongoing. And when investigation is ongoing, you can only reveal information on a need-to-know basis so that, we not jeopardize, the investigation that is being carried out by the agency that is carrying out the investigation.
As the special advisor to the governor of Oyo State on security, what is the government doing to ensure that this does not repeat itself?
In Oyo State, I can say emphatically that, the struggle to ensure that some of those things that are cloaked under or within the ambit of exclusive legislative are handled in a way that we give the state certain obligation that we make the state to be able to protect the people that live in the state. The process has started quite a while. Oyo State is rich in solid minerals. And because we know the impact of, illegal mining activities, as we've seen in some other places, the state had, started putting up measures, just like the executive order released by the state towards the end of last year, which is meant, to address the environmental impact of illegal mining activities and activities of illegal miners. So that executive order is there. More may come, but what we're saying is that these are some of the steps being taken by the state to ensure that such things don't happen. And in addition, we've continued to engage the people of the state as to the need to be conscious of their environment, just like we always say the mantra, if you say something, government will do something. People will come up to say, oh, we don't trust the government, we don't trust the security apparatus. It is high time that all those notions, being pessimistic about what security people do with information, that shouldn't be an excuse. There are so many ways of getting information to security, and now that will not make anybody to compromise. We've been given the number says further. We've been encouraging people to say where you live, you have landlord resident association. Example is where this incident happened, where you have high caliber people, the elite that nobody can treat in a frivolous manner. People that they can pursue, intelligence given to a logical conclusion. So we want our people to take advantage of such community association to, give intelligence, and of course, when they do that, we'll be able to prevent such occurrences. People are already coming out. Maybe lessons have been learned to say, oh, in certain areas, we notice this, we notice that. All these things are being put together for the security institutions to work on. And of course, we will not relent until, we get rid of those people that have been engaged in illegal activities in the state.
Can we link this explosion to the activities of illegal miners in places like Okyogun? Remember that recently, the military had to invade some of the forest to chase out and arrest some armed illegal miners.
There is a way that it can be linked, and I have indicated before that if whoever is occupying that building from where this emanated is not doing illegal business, he will follow the provisions of the Explosive Ordnance Act by keeping those explosives in the magazines where they're supposed to be. And that is to say that the illegal miners that are operating around Okyogun, the park or your park, Old Oyo Park that are extended to Niger State, they could be carrying out their operations there illegally, and of course using the opportunity of compromises in transporting these explosives to drive their illegal mining activities, which the state is also addressing by ensuring that all those areas are put on surveillance and with the clearance operations that the state has embarked upon in those locations.
Thank you, Mr. Fatai Owusheni, for featuring on State Affairs.
Thank you, Edmond.
Here we go!
State Affairs with Edmond Obilo is live. Stay tuned. In the global village of conflicting ideologies and complexities, understanding systems and schemes through awareness and social reconstruction becomes expedient.
They never told you how you offended them?
I'm not on trial, so I can't go before
Join the radio man, Edmond Obilo, on State Affairs for local and international politics, security, extensive economic analysis, interviews, and world power play.
Nigerians must choose the path they want to follow. Follow the same looters and sponsors of violence who control the political structures or encourage the formation of a new leadership team.
Be a global citizen and join the radio revolution on State Affairs. State Affairs with Edmond Obilo. Radio just got deeper.
Here we go!
State Affairs with Edmond Obilo is live. Stay tuned. State Affairs with Edmond Obilo is live.
The program is State Affairs on Splash 105.5 FM, the Integrity Station. I am Edmond Obilo. State Affairs is a class of politics and power. On this edition, we are looking at the mining sector. Mining for development or destruction is the theme of this edition of State Affairs. Governor Makinde of Oyo State has received the official report of the January 16, 2024 explosion. The report includes findings of the medical, security, and engineering teams, and it was submitted to the governor during the week. At the end of the briefing to newsmen by the special advisor on security to Governor Makinde, Fatai Owushini, retired, he said 3 persons of interest have been identified in connection with the cause of the unfortunate blast that shook the foundation of Ibadan. The government of Oyo State is saying the identified persons will face prosecution based on the investigation that has been submitted to the governor of Oyo State. So that's the latest about the explosion. About the mining sector. Money spinner, you listen to that Nasarawa miner. He has a lot of stories to tell. But I want to hear from you. What do you think? So the WhatsApp number to call is 080 18449. That's the WhatsApp number to call. 080 18449. WhatsApp calls only. You can also leave your messages on my social media pages. Are you following me on TikTok?
Is when they blame you.
Follow me on TikTok. Search for Edmondo Bilo on TikTok. Follow me on X, Edmondo Bilo on X. Let's see who is on Facebook. Have you left your message on Facebook? Let's go to Facebook. Let me see who's here. Ijoma Adeoye, how are you? Good morning to you. Olusegun Agbola, I greet you. Amadi Lawson, good morning. Akonye Umuoba, how are you? Tina Okogbe, I greet you, ma. Yes, Akonye Umuoba says as you are benefiting from this great program, try and share to spread the message. I agree with you, Akonye. If you are watching on Facebook, you would do well to share the broadcast. Adewale Adekunle Ridwan said the Nigerian elites are money-making extremists. Money-making extremists. Money-making extremists. That sounds interesting. Hello, good morning.
Nigerian elites are money-making extremists.
Okay, I'm going to cut this caller. Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Please turn down the volume of your radio. Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, good morning.
Hello.
I can hear you. Good morning.
Hello.
All right, thank you for calling the radio station. Okay, let me tell you the trick. There is delay. You know, once you call me on WhatsApp, it is faster than what you are receiving. So you might get confused. So once I pick your call, just turn down the volume of your radio. Don't listen. It won't coincide. The voice that you'll be hearing on your phone will be different from what is coming out from your radio because I'm broadcasting through the internet. So there's that delay. So when you experience any hiccup, know that this is an internet broadcast. I'm not live in Splash FM studio. Okay? So once you call and I pick your call, just turn down the volume of your radio. Hello, good morning. Hello. Hello. Pedro Olayemi Babawale, I can see you here. Paulinus Chinedu, good morning. Come on Facebook, let me see you. Abeza Chaso, be nice watching.
Good morning, Mr. Pedro.
Hello, good morning. You see, when you call a radio station, That's your bedroom voice. Just kill it. You're not in your bedroom. You know, some people will just call and begin to say, huh. You know, when you call a radio station, you project. Huh? You're not talking to your babe or your boyfriend. You're talking to the radio man. You can see my voice. You can hear me loud and clear. I can swear come and say, hello, how are you? This, that. Nah. No dummy. Sam Kitugbe, Nigerian leaders are not focused on meaningful development. That's the point he's making. Hello, good morning. Hello.
Hello.
Good morning.
Morning, sir.
Your name and where you are calling from?
Yeah, my name is Shio. I'm calling from Ibadan here. I'm just happy to be in class this morning. I can't wait to hear from you, and especially from the topic you're talking about, mining today. It's always been my dream to study mining, so I'm very much around in class. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Shio, for being there. Yes, he has marked his presence in class. Abdulaziz Mayua, how are you? He says, God bless Nigeria. Nigeria will be great and greater again. We shall all be here to see and experience a better Nigeria. I believe that's Mayowa Abdulaziz. He is on Facebook. Abosede Hassan is watching. Ajao Olakunle, good morning. Let me see. Have you left a message for me? Let's see your message here. Okay, there's this one from Sanusi Toib Ace or Lami Lekon. He says, good morning, Radio Man. The economic gaps in the society is so wide that the term middle class has been scrapped. It is either you are rich or poor. Good morning. Hello, good morning. Adetumbi Saidige. Hello, good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Can you hear me? All right. Just keep trying. Okay. Let me do something now. Some of them can't hear me. Adetumbi Saidige says too few people are in possession of too much wealth of the nation, to the extent that virtually every citizen has become a beggar. What they beg for and who they beg only differs. Adetumbi, is it that bad? Said, is it that bad? It says, to the extent that virtually every citizen has become a beggar. What they beg for and who they beg only differs. That's serious. That's serious. That's serious. That's very serious. Citizens becoming beggars. What do? We can fix it, can't we? I believe we can. We can fix it. What do you think? Let's fix it. Let's fix it. Abeza Chasobina says it is myopic to think that your economic development is hinged on ignoring the concrete and embracing the abstract. The wealth the rich hold tenaciously is an abstract reality made real by the people, the concrete reality whom they oppress. Abeza Chasobina wishes to call the leadership to order. He says your wealth and that of the nation is hinged on developing the common citizens. Don't oppress them. John Oguche Onyisi says the system of government being practiced by Nigeria is the major contributor to our social and economic inequalities. And until what late Jerry Rawlings did in Ghana is replicated in Nigeria, we will continue to suffer in the hands of the few vagabonds in power. But is Ghana better than Nigeria in the true sense of the word, John? Is Ghana an example of development? Is Ghana a classic case of advancement in the social, political, and economic well-being of the people? John Oguche, I want you to answer this question. After Jerry Rawlings carried out the extreme form of taking on the corrupt leadership, has Ghana attained the well-being attained by the Singaporean? Is any Ghana society or city as beautiful as Dubai or Doha, despite the aggressive and somehow defining moment that Jerry Rawlings created? Has Ghana shown that it has the capacity for technological development? Can any Ghanaian university compete with some of the universities in Singapore, in China, in terms of facilities? John Oguche, those questions are for you. Hello, good morning. Hello. Hello.
Good morning.
Yes.
Good morning, Radio Man.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning, Radio Man.
I can hear you. Oh.
Good morning. This is Ajibola Oni.
All right.
Good morning.
Make your comment.
Hello. Hello.
All right, he can't hear
good
me.
Morning.
Hey, the good morning is okay. It's enough.
This is Ajibola Oni.
I have heard you. Now make your point. Okay, he can't hear me. Yo. Hello.
Israeli.
Hello, good morning.
Baba. Hey, engineer.
Siam now, you don't call radio station and he's not listening.
I want to tell you.
You called the radio man and you are hailing somebody.
Hello. Hello, good morning.
Okay, you see, and you called the radio station and you are talking to somebody else. What's going on?
Hello, good morning.
Yes, good morning.
This Prince Bome Adefusi calling from Apata.
Good to hear your voice.
Yes, sir. I think since 1999, with Nigeria, the story of Nigeria still remains the same. You cited Ghana's developments. They also came up with the successful revolution. And Ghana is now a good example to some West Africans. Because these people, when it comes to what they will benefit them, they will fight together and stick to their plans. We have the divided youths in the country. That is why the situation of Nigeria keeps continuing. Regarding the illegal miners in the country, it's a serious thing that government needs to come in fully and stop their money making as usual. Because when it comes to life and properties, when it comes to resources, it is something they must handle properly. You can imagine some foreigners are tapping our resources anyhow they like in the country, which is not supposed to be. They were developing their country, while our own remains stagnant. Concerning the information you gave us this morning, that they were selling the dynamite at Iwirele in Okiogun. Well, it's a good one, and I will urge the state government this morning to continue taking the proactive steps we know him for. I mean, Mr. Governor, because some 3 or 4 persons were identified who have hands in the nega miners. So that's my submission. We go help Mr. Governor, because I see him among the leaders that have human face, that love his people. That's my submission. Good morning, Radio Man.
Good morning. Hello. Good morning. Okay. Let's look at this. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, good morning.
This is Balumi from Akala Express.
Good to hear your voice.
Been hearing everybody's what do they call it? Contributions, and I heard everything you said. It's a lot for me to stomach in the first place, let me say, because as the guy from Nasarawa, the Nasarawa miner was talking, I don't know how to. I had to increase the volume, and it was a lot for me. I pray God will help us. But you see, it's a very big issue for us, and I must confess to you, I'm not sure now. Refining, extraction, and all of that, just crude. Now, that has been over like a 30 years plus that we've been taking this crude out, refining, bringing it back, selling it back to us here in dollars and all of that, which in turn has affected our foreign exchange. It has affected, in terms of the exportation of the crude, importation of refined product and all of that. Now, if we no longer have issues with crude, maybe we have like at least 5 functioning standard refineries with maybe sub refineries, like little ones. So that means maybe our crude extraction and our refining processes are very, very okay, up to standard, global standard. By now, we will be facing other challenges like maybe agriculture. And that's how a country grows. So when people just say, okay, we want a government and a magician in the country, I to get to where the European countries are, like maybe places like Asia too, like maybe UAE, maybe Germany, maybe United Kingdom or United States. Like it took us 50 years. That's if we keep up with a steady flow of development. Now, we are in a very terrible state where we have not even started at all. We still have some people in the government. We still have a government that has people maybe embezzling, siphoning funds into private accounts. And we still have issues with the government, maybe when they even pick up these people, they are not locked up. I told some of my friends yesterday that until Nigeria starts locking up culprits, people that are found guilty, like somebody maybe a former CBN governor that was caught with cash in his house in Lagos, all those things, that a lot of money. Not that maybe they will catch somebody with 1 billion. They will now say the government recovered 600 million. Imagine you are recovering 600 million out of 1 billion stolen, for example. What about the rest of the 400? Maybe it has been spent. Maybe you seized houses. Maybe you seized confiscated cars or maybe other properties. But, a lot of this money has still been spent.
All right.
And so I'm just saying that if we have all these capital issues, it will be hard for us to sort mining. Mining, Ijebu is just the one we saw in Iwerele, Okiogun. Do you know how many other states like Ekiti, maybe Osun, like you said, and several other places in the north that are experiencing this same issue? So it's a lot for us, and I'm not sure we are even ready to tackle it. I don't know. I'm just heartbroken. So if we still have oil issues and other government matters that are troubling us, I'm not sure we are even ready to tackle mining issues at all, because I don't know how that is going to work for us.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for calling the radio station. The program is State Affairs on Splash 105.5 FM, the Integrity Station. I talked about Mohamed Tunis, the Speaker of the Economic Community of West African States Parliament, who said that Nigeria is losing a staggering 91% of its potential revenue from the mining sector due to illegal activities. Tunis drew attention to the stark contrast in the contributions of the mining sector to the GDP of neighboring countries. While Ghana, Burkina Faso, and Côte d'Ivoire benefit significantly from their mining industries, Nigeria lags behind, receiving only a mere 9% of potential revenue from the sector. The consequences of illegal mining extend beyond economic losses. Tunis emphasized that such activities breed insecurity, fueling banditry, kidnapping, and even insurgency in affected regions. Urgent action is necessary to address these challenges and secure the stability of the West African sub-region. In light of these pressing concerns, the Speaker called upon ECOWAS member states to implement robust regulations and sustainable solutions to combat illegal mining effectively. He stressed the pivotal role of proper regulation in maximizing the sector's potential and fostering economic growth across member states. You can see 9%. And that 9% that Nigeria is getting from it, don't be surprised that some persons are stealing 8% of the 9%. When a country is blessed with looting leaders, you begin to ask, should we count our blessings? It is about the mining sector. Listen to this. It's from the Nasarawa miner. Feel it.
I've mined in Oyo State, I've mined in Nasarawa, I've mined in Benue, I've mined in Taraba, different solid minerals. I mean, I can be named. Oyo State, I did tantalite and tin in Oyo State. I did mining directly in Oyo State, not trading. I mined in Oyo State 2018/2019. I was in Oyo State. I did tin and tantalite in Oyo State. The whole of Okiogun is full of solid minerals. Let me explain to you. The whole of Okiogun. We have lithium. Lithium is divided into three places, which is lepidolite, spodumene, and ambiguolite. There are some other minerals that you can get lithium, but those are the major minerals that generate high quality of lithium. Some spodumene, lepidolite, and ambiguolite. So we have all those three. The three are in Oyo State. The three solid minerals are in Oyo State. We have lithium, we have tantalite, we have tourmaline. When it comes to gemstone, we have feldspar, we have mica. All these things are in large quantity in Oyo State. We have aquamarine, we have, so many things. Oyo State is blessed. When you will leave Oyo State, you move to Kwara. I mine in Kwara. There's a place in Kwara they call Bani. Bani is also where they have spodumene in Bani. And there's a place in Kwara they also call Lade. Lade is full of lepidolite, which is a type of lithium also.
Here we go!
State Affairs with Edmond Obilo is live. Stay tuned.
Yes, I'll be going for a short break. And after that, I'll bring you more interviews on the mining sector. Remember the theme of this class: mining for development or destruction. You are listening to Splash 105.5 FM, the Integrity Station. You are listening to the radio man, Edmond Opilo. You see, I interviewed Tayo Ajani. He's also a miner. The revelations from their interviews is one that you should not miss. And I'm going to stream their interviews live, the full-length interview, on my social media platforms starting from tomorrow evening. I think I'm going to stream Tayo Ajani tomorrow. I'm going to stream him tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Nigerian time. So if you come on my social media pages at 9 p.m. tomorrow night, you will listen to the full interview with Tayo Ajani. It is eye-opening. But you will listen to some parts of the interview on this edition of the program. The Nasarawa Miner interview is another eye-opening interview. I will also stream it. I will announce when I will be streaming that interview on my social media pages. And you can also listen to my podcast when you go on State Affairs app. On that app, you have the opportunity to listen to my podcast. So I'll begin to upload my podcast again on the app. So you can always go on the app and you can connect to my YouTube account. Once you're on that app links you to my YouTube channel and you are good to go. Have you followed me on TikTok? Are you following me on Twitter? And the radio man will be back in Nigeria soon. Soon, I'll be back. I'll be back soon. I want to be home. I'm beginning to miss home. Radio man, it's time to go home. Home sweet home. Nigeria, how are you? I'll be back after this break. Hello, Bosun.
In the global village of conflicting ideologies and complexities, understanding systems and schemes through awareness and social reconstruction becomes expedient.
They never told you how you offended them? I'm not on trial, so I can't go before
Join the radio man, Edmond Obilo, on State Affairs for local and international politics, security, extensive economic analysis, interviews, and world power play.
Nigerians must choose the path they want to follow. Follow the same looters and sponsors of violence who control the political structures or encourage the formation of a new leadership team.
Be a global citizen and join the radio revolution on State Affairs. State Affairs with Edmond Obilo. Radio just got deeper.
Here we go!
State Affairs with Edmond Obilo is live. Stay tuned.
I've mined in Oyo State, I've mined in Nasarawa, I've mined in Benue, I've mined in Taraba, different solid minerals. I mean, I can be named. Oyo State, I did tantalite and tin in Oyo State. I did mining directly in Oyo State, not trading. I mined in Oyo State 2018/2019, I was in Oyo State. I did tin and tantalite in Oyo State. The whole of Okeogun is full of solid minerals. Let me explain to you. The whole of Okeogun. We have lithium. Lithium is divided into three cases, which is lepidolite, spodumene, and ambiguolite. There are some other minerals that you can get lithium, but those are the major minerals that generate high quality of lithium. So, both spodumene, lepidolite, and ambiguolite. So we have all those three. The three are in Oyo State. The three solid minerals are in Oyo State. We have lithium, we have tantalite, we have tourmaline. When it comes to gemstone, we have feldspar, we have mica. All these things are in large quantity in Oyo State. We have aquamarine, we have so many things. Oyo State is blessed. When you will leave Oyo State, you move to Kwara. I man in Kwara. There is a place in Kwara they call Bani. Bani is also where they have spodumene in Bani. And there's a place in Kwara they also call Lade. Lade is full of lepidolite, which is a type of lithium also.
Here we go!
State Affairs with Edmond Obilo is live. Stay tuned.
Artisanal miners are everywhere in Nigeria.
Yes.
From your experience, majority of them, do they come from the communities where the mining take place, or you have foreigners from other places?
Even Oyo State, in Okeogun, I met Gambians, I met Malians, I met Gambians. Gambians dominate Oyo State and the Malians because of our gemstones. The Gambians and the Malians, they are in Okeogun. They spread themselves over, in Okeogun. So mainly, the northerners dominate the liberal work in Okeogun.
Are we talking about northerners from a particular tribe?
No particular tribe. Northerners generally dominate the laboring work when it comes to labor in Okeogun. North Central, Northeast, Northwest, everyone is in Okeogun.
If the northerners dominate the laborer work, who are the main businessmen controlling the mining sites?
The main businessmen controlling the mining site are mainly we have the people, spending the money. We have foreigners who are not Nigerians doing that. Somehow maybe some Chinese, Gambians, Malians, or Igbo man or a Yoruba man.
Now tell me, when you say laborers, what do the laborers do?
Laborers are the one that digs the pit. After the excavation of the overbody, when the excavator have done his own work, excavator is to pack all the sand for us to get to the basement of the material, for us to see the material. After the excavator have done his own work, then the laborers get into the pit, then chisel the material out of the pit. They use chisel, hammer, and so on, digger, to bring out the materials from the pit.
How deep can these pits be?
There are some pits that is 100 meters.
Did you
so
say?
We have 200 meters. there are some pits, they operate, let me be sincere with you, there are some pits they operate, when you enter the pit, there will be generator for electricity where they will be frying akara under the pit. You will see a brutal under the pit. It depends on how the mining site is, producing. When the mining site is producing very well, when the mining site produces very well, maybe it produces in large quantity, then you will know anything can go on under the pit, because under the pit you will see where people light their candle, they sleep under the inside the pit, people sleep inside the pit, people on generator inside the pit, people create room inside the pit.
Wait, inside the ground, you are talking about 100 meters.
Yes.
And people are living inside as miners.
Yes. Some people are not even miners. They just came there to sell their, maybe selling their cigarettes, alcohol, and so on. And they are inside the pit with the miners.
State Affairs with Edmond Obilo is live. Stay tuned.
Program is State Affairs on Splash 105.5 FM, the Integrity Station. On the mining sector, I want to discuss with Tayo Ajani. Tayo Ajani has a BSc in Geography, and he's a PhD student studying areas that has to do with development. He has more than 30 years industry experience in mining. He has participated in several projects as team member and consultant. His research areas include impact of mining activities on farm sizes and practices in mining communities of Guma local government of Benue State. His research area also covers artisanal and small-scale mining as a tool for achieving the Sustainable Development Goals, myth or reality. He is a member Nigerian Environmental Society, member Nigerian Institute of Management, and member Association of Nigerian Geographers. He walks us into the mining sector. In this part of the interview with him, we looked at foreigners in mining. Tayo Ajani on State Affairs. Let's look at the roles of aliens, especially Chinese. I've been hearing Chinese.
Esau scenario. Again, taking back to...
Let's look at the roles of aliens, especially Chinese. I've been hearing Chinese. Are the Chinese controlling the mining sector in Nigeria?
I will be very honest with you. What you have in Nigeria is like the proverbial voice of Jacob and of Esau scenario. Again, taking back to the example I just cited for you about a mining grant that I applied for in Kogi State. Many of them come with locals fronting for them. And let me shock you, Edmond, many of those locals are prominent people with influence in society, like this example I cited for you, Edmond, a retired federal director in the ministry fronting for a Chinese company. And that's what you have. So many of them, because one, they have access to cheap capital, two, they have access to equipment, three, many of the products after being extracted end up with them. And then again, the sad in Edmond is that many of these things get extracted and exported raw. And then, that is great injustice to our economy, Edmond. Let me paint another scenario, Edmond. By adding value to some minerals, you can have 5, 6, 7 times the value. Just by adding value. That doesn't need too much of high technology. You understand what I mean, Edmond?
Yes.
So, but the Chinese man will want to get it because you get it wrong. Let me paint quickly. Let me paint another scenario again. He buys from locals or he mines and tells you it's crude. He knows that once he does some small processing, he can get 6, 7 times that value. So for him, it's a win-win. But for us, Edmond, for the community, for the country, it's a big loss.
Apart from the Chinese.
And that is what we find in Ghana. In fact, in Ghana, now there's a big problem because they have a more developed, mining sector. They have a problem with that now. Many of their lands are being destroyed by Chinese are coming in. And many of them will come in under the guise of expatriates, but they are no better than just laborers. They bring them in, and then before you know it, they are taking over.
In the case of Ibadan, we heard about Malians. I have heard about Gambians. These aliens, have you heard about Malians, Gambians? What is their role in Nigeria's mining sector?
Of course, yes, Edmond. Let me tell you this again. In Mali, in Gambia, because they don't have crude oil like we do, so mining, they have a longer issue with mining than we do. So they are more knowledgeable about minerals and mining than we do. And many of them are involved in these high-value gemstones. And it's like a cult, Edmond. It's like a cult. So you're not likely to see many of them in industrial minerals. But you find many of them in these high-value gemstones. Because that's the area of expertise. In Mali, in Gambia, they've had decades of experiences with mining gold and the like. So, and mining is like when there's a strike, you'll be shocked in a very short time. People come from very far. They flock. They flock, they gamble, they do all of sorts. And then when the thing is exhausted or becomes too deep, then they go. And then the place becomes like a ghost town. So that's what you are. So they are leveraging on their longer time of exposure to those minerals and the experiences they have with these minerals because of their decades of exposure and experiences with these minerals.
So we have them in the Nigerian mining sector dominating.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, Edmond, especially in the area of gemstones.
So who is paying royalty to the federal government?
Like I said in one program, I was saying it that shortly after that explosion and the governor was like, illegal miner. I said, no, sir. It's not necessarily bad an illegal miner. When you have your license, you're supposed to pay royalty that are fixed. Different mineral types have different rates that are payable. So they pay. And but it's not as if they don't pay. They pay to government. But I mean, when you float your company, and like the man that was interviewed said, yes, they are legal miners, they have papers. So to say they are illegal is not right. They are legal, but you see, the issue is not legal. The issue is about monitoring. Who monitors who? How do we ensure that what they said they are doing is what they are doing? How do we ensure that they do what they say they will do? How do we ensure that they take precautions like they say they will do when they are applying? That's where the issue is, Edmond.
Here we go.
State Affairs with Edmond Obilo is live. Stay tuned.
Now let's come to this subject of displacement of indigenous communities. At the moment, there are conflicts in different parts of Nigeria, especially in the northern part of Nigeria. I have listened to the governor of Plateau State. He talks about people coming into communities, displace members of that communities, and occupy the communities. In the course of this interview, you've also mentioned it. Can we look at that aspect?
Again, is this greed, but I will call it avarice. This thing that makes a man to be selfish. You want it all for yourself. It doesn't matter who is there or who has been there or what has been existing on the ground. The average man, Edmond, is selfish. And it's worse when you have a society where poverty pervades. So, most times, like I said, people try to short-circuit the process. And that's the crux of the matter, Edmond. Even when you need to resettle, mind you, Edmond, there are mining activities that might involve the use of explosives, blasting. Now, in that kind of situation, you cannot have residences or people living too close by, so as to avoid getting people out, damaging properties, and all sorts of negative impact. So in that wise, you need to resettle. But Edmond, we've successfully done 1 or 2 resettlement programs that have worked in Nigeria. But there's a way you do it. And if you do the proper thing, it will work. And again, let me quickly chip this in, Edmond. It's all places you can mine. And that is in our advocacy group, IMSF. We always, because what we do is to mentor young professionals, the ones that just coming out of school, as to the proper practice. I mean, we're trying to, in our own small way, to get this mining thing take off on a proper footing. So we tell them, not all places you can mine. There are some places that are sensitive. There are some places that are too sensitive that the community might not agree. In that area, Edmond, there's only one option you have. Move on. But again, the greed, the selfishness of some entrepreneurs will not make them to look over and move on. And that's where the issue of conflict comes in. And in a society like that, in a community like that, what do you expect the people to do? They will fold their hands. They will fight back. And that is one of the origin of this conflict that we're having all over the country.
I have read about bandits occupying mining communities. I've read about the dangers of mining in some areas. Zamfara, for example. Do you have any experience of bandits occupying mining sites and chasing away communities?
Maybe because of my long years in mining, and because of my experiences and exposure, and of course my training, I stay clear of places like that. But I have friends, I know people, I know colleagues, professionals like me that have issues. In fact, there was one man that well, not he still have, but he can't mine again. He has papers to mine in Zamfara, but he cannot do that again. It's in Plateau State now. The last time we had our meeting online, our advocacy group, we're pulling his legs and we're telling him, okay, now that you are no longer in Zamfara, welcome back to Plateau and all of that. So that is, but that's on a lighter mode. I don't have direct experience, but I know people with very, very bitter experiences. People that have been kidnapped, people that have their equipment burnt. And why do we have such things? The main idea is, and I want you to listen very well. These bandits come in, they create an atmosphere of pandemonium so that nobody stays there. Then they occupy the place. What do? They extract the minerals, get them out, sell them, get money, and then they recycle the money so that they can use it to procure more arms, and then the cycle continues. That's how it works. We've had cases not confirmed, and I'm very careful in saying this, especially on a public space like your program. We've had cases of people claiming that they've seen choppers coming around to pick mineral products. And Edmond, 1 kilogram of top grade sapphire is what you bring chopper to pick. So they may not be lying.
You have mentioned movers and shakers of society getting involved in this sector. Movers and shakers of society. What does that mean?
I'm sure you're just pulling my legs. You tell the average high school student, movers and shakers, he knows what that means. Top politicians, top civil servants. I just mentioned to you a case I'm having presently. Retired top civil servants, some still in active service, top politicians, very high class, high grade chiefs, community leaders, people that will look up to society. That's what I mean by movers and shakers. People of means. Because, Edmond, if you will mine is not cheap, Edmond. Mine is not cheap. Even the small scale, I'm not talking about artisanal mining now, the small scale mining, you are required by law to have 5-10 million in your account outside other things. And then if you want to mine, you must have basic equipment, excavator, dozers. Even if you are buying used ones now, Edmond, you're talking about tens of millions, taken to maybe hundreds of millions. You don't come by that easily. It's not what a seller of pepper and tomatoes can access. That's what I mean by movers and shakers.
So we are talking about a sector that is a money spinner.
If you get mining right, Edmond, apart from Zaire, now Congo, I don't know of many countries in Africa that are as endowed as Nigeria. And I'm not talking based on what I read, Edmond. I have traversed the length and breadth of this nation. I want to say that the only place I've not been to for mining is Borno State. But I went as far as Damaturu, somewhere called Damagundukonkuka, after police school on the way to Damaturu. We're looking for gypsum. When we're the first set of group that pressed for local sourcing of gypsum around 2000, around 95, 96. So Edmond, solid mineral sector is a huge gold mine.
Here we go.
State Affairs with Edmond Obilo is live. Stay tuned.
Speaking with Tayo Ajani there. Join me at 9 p.m. Nigerian time tomorrow. I'll be streaming the full interview with Tayo Ajani on my social media pages, on Instagram, on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on X. Join me. I will be streaming the interview at 9 p.m. Nigerian time. It's an interview you should listen to. So don't miss it tomorrow night. The full interview with Tayo Ajani. And it's also going to come out as a podcast. And I will post the podcast on my social media pages. I will also be streaming that interview on YouTube. I'm streaming on YouTube at the moment. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Go on my YouTube channel and see some interviews on Nigerian history. Have you listened to my interview with Femi Kehinde? Have you listened to that interview? It's a 2-hour interview about the battle between Akintola and Obafemi Awolowo. In fact, that interview is a book. Go on my YouTube page and read that book. It's an interview, but I'm telling you, it's a book. Femi Kehinde was at his best. Remember, he wrote a book about Akintola. So if you go on my YouTube page, you will find that interview. I had an interview with Major Emmanuel Ajayi. He was later promoted recently. After leaving the army for more than 20 years, he was promoted to a lieutenant colonel or a colonel. I had that interview with him before I left the country. That interview, you will find it on my YouTube page. It's about 1 hour, 30 minutes. He narrated his experience of the Civil War. Go on my YouTube page. Subscribe to my YouTube page. I also had an interview with Tunde Odulade before I left the country. Tunde Odulade, the artist. He took us back to the Festac Festival. We analyzed what happened at Festac. Remember Festac, the Festival of Art and Culture? That interview is on my YouTube page. It's about 1 hour, 30 minutes. It's a class on its own. You will see Tunde Odulade as a storyteller. On my YouTube account, you will find my broadcast from State Affairs Studios. Right? So, subscribe to my YouTube account and follow me on history, politics, and power. Yes, we have not finished building Grandma's house. We ran out of money, but we are not giving up on that project. No way. We will build Grandma's house. So I've come again to say that we have an unfinished business, Grandma's house. By the end of March, we should begin to think of roofing the house. Yes. Contribute if you can. You make her happy. You make the world happy. So when you contribute like that, you open your mind to the goodness of time. When you contribute to helping somebody in need, you open your heart to the goodness of time. You will get. It will come to you. I know what I benefit from giving. Yes. So part of my agenda is to give. I don't even have to wait. I give. Anywhere I go, I give. Where I am now, I'm giving from the little I have. If you think it's when you have abundance that you can give, you're not a giver. I give. And I also learn to manage the little I have. I grow it so that I can give. It has always been my mission to give. In fact, this house that we are building is my giving to Grandma too. I give. Somehow, Grandma is becoming my responsibility, little by little. It's my way of giving. Let's build Grandma's house. Contribute to the building. I'll give you the account number. If you don't know the story of Grandma, Grandma bought a land in Oluyole local government after retiring from the federal service. With the little money she saved, she bought a land to build herself a house. She got an approved building plan and struggled to build a 2-bedroom flat. She struggled. In fact, she could not even complete the building. So she managed to fix about 2 rooms and started living. This is an old woman who decided not to beg, hoping that someday she will finish the building of her house. Then the government came to open up channels for erosion control around her building. So government kept taking her land, ate into the building, that one of the flats collapsed into the water channel. Then the remaining one is standing by the water channel, and the water channel is expanding by the day. She would be swept away by erosion, a ferocious one, if we don't take her out of there. Then some would say that she has a right to take government to court. Can Grandma afford to go to court? The woman has fought. She has gone to every department of government to state her case. She has been frustrated. Different local government chairmen in Oluyole local government did not listen to her plea. She kept running to me, and I kept running away. Because she would tell me the story. I would say, what is going on? What kind of country is this? She got an approved plan, and government is taking the land without compensation. We live in a country where government don't care. At the point when she was coming to me, I was tired of fighting government. You get to a point that I'm tired of fighting and taking up government. At that point, I have changed my tactics. I said, no. Let me deploy my skills in another way. And that was when Grandma came. And I said, no, I wasn't going to fight government. Again and again, I started negotiating with government this time. And luckily, Oluyole has a local government chairman with human sympathy. So it was not a case of saying my grandma is right. They will frustrate her. I don't want her to be. So I needed let me go into a partnership with the chairman. The normal thing to do is okay, you have taken her land, why not build her a new house? Oluyole local government doesn't have money. I don't want to go into that. The local governments are just there. They are just there. They have been strangulated. They cannot function well. Okay, we began to negotiate with the chairman. That is Seto Pupola. Can you allocate another land to Grandma? He agreed. And he allocated a good land in a very good location. And contributed 1,500 blocks, bags of cement, granite, and started the building. But I said, Edmund, the local government cannot afford to finish this building. I said, okay, let's go into a partnership. Let the people also contribute. let's find solution. And that is where we are. And the people are contributing. And things are becoming more expensive. So the little we have is not enough. As I'm coming home, I'm going to put a good money into that account. Let's build that house. Please, contribute. We can. We are building a 3-bedroom flat for her. 3-bed. And the sad thing is that her only daughter left for her about 5 young children. She died and left for her mother 5 young children. They have no place to live. And we need to protect them. Contribute to the building of Grandma's house. The account number. The bank is Union Bank. Union Bank, that is the bank. Account name, are you with me? Account name, Splash FM Welfare Unit. It's also a Splash FM project. The media, government, and Grandma working together. Account name is Splash FM Welfare Unit. The bank is Union Bank. Account number 02 06 27 5094. That's the account number. 02 06 27 5094. I'll be happy to receive your donation if you can. I wish you well. I wish Grandma well. Grandma will live long and live in that house. I wish the chairman of Oluyole local government, Seto Kpukpola, well. I know he'll be leaving that office soon. Seto, thank you. Thank you. It's good knowing you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you. It is State Affairs on Splash 105.5 FM, the Integrity Station. We are talking mining. The government of President Bola Tinubu plans to focus on solid minerals as Nigeria's largest source of revenue. This was announced by the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, George Akume, at the second edition of the African Natural Resource and Energy Investment Summit in Abuja. At the event, Akume, who represented President Tinubu, said that Tinubu's administration will wake up the sleeping giant that the solid mineral sector is today, and that the sector will play a strategic role in the economy by providing jobs for the people, improving the revenue accruable to the government, and establishing an industrial sector that is the envy of the world. Tinubu used the opportunity to discuss the challenges of the sector, and the challenges include indiscriminate and illegal mining, and the threat of bandits oppressing villages and exploiting the mines to raise money for insurgency. There is also the problem of lack of comprehensive and certified data to guide investment financing. This stirs the sector of critical funds. Another drawback is the allegations of sharp practices in the licensing process. Tayo Ajani mentioned it in that interview with him. Sharp practices in the licensing process undermines the commitment to transparency. If the Tinubu government is sincere to tackle these challenges, the mining sector is capable of energizing the Nigerian economy. First, the government should show that it has the will and capacity to tackle insecurity. Some of the killings going on in the Plateau, Benue, Zamfara, for example, are wars being waged by bandits to capture mineral-rich communities for money-generating purposes. This is part of the discussion I had with Professor Isaac Olawale Albert on the conflict in the Plateau. Isaac Albert is a professor of African history, peace, and conflict studies at the Institute for Peace and Strategic Studies, University of Ibadan. There's also the question of mining in these communities.
Yes.
Some are saying there are foreign interests bringing in weapons and arming these bandits to take over these communities so that they can move in and mine illegally.
Yes, mining is one of the problems. Mining is one of the problems. Well, let me even say it's a major problem. A colleague was interacting with me from that part of Nigeria yesterday, and he said people are talking about uranium in Niger. That there is plenty of uranium in Plateau that people are taking away quietly. Who are these people taking away these high-priced mineral resources and giving weapons to our people? You see, there are a lot of questions that we need to answer. People go to Zamfara State to mine different kinds of things, but they tell us the only thing they are mining there is gold. It is not true. It is not true. So we cannot be deceiving ourselves and be pretending that we are running a viable country. Nigeria is not viable as presently structured. It's not viable. People are taking away all kinds of mineral resources, and nobody is in charge. Nobody is stopping them. And so Nigerians are taking over their mineral resources. But I was told yesterday that there is plenty of it in Plateau State, that only the local people are aware of what is going on. So we need a president, we need a leadership that will take charge of this country. For now, nobody is in control. So the president needs to come out quickly to share his security management policies with Nigerians and to charge all our security agencies to go after those making the country ungovernable. That is the only way out.
Here we go!
State Affairs with Edmond Obilo is live. Stay tuned.
That is Professor Isaac Albert of the University of Ibadan talking about mining. Let me take this call before I go for a break. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, Mr. Edmond.
Good morning.
Okay, I can barely hear you, but I'll try and make my point based on the subject matter you raised this morning. This is James from UI. Yes, when you reacted to one of your people that were reacting to comments on Facebook, where somebody was saying that people are begging, that the population has been reduced to beggars, but who we beg or what we beg for It's different. That's the truth. And it doesn't even matter if you have if you have paid employment, or it's even worse if you don't even have any employment, because people that are even getting something at the end of the month are struggling. They are barely putting food on their table. I don't know if you heard what Mr. President said some days ago, saying Nigeria should be more patriotic, and guess his solution that we should start reciting the national pledge. And I ask myself, how would that put food on the table of people? Nigerians are patriotic because what Nigeria is facing through, some countries have not gone through 1/3 or 1/4 of it, and the country will have been on fire. But our coping mechanism, I would say, is second to none. And maybe sometimes it's even our resilience that is even like a curse for us. But I always tell people, even in Hooke's law, no matter how elastic things get, they will always get to a plastic level and things will break apart. And I just hope will not just break apart. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for joining the discourse on state affairs. It is Splash 105.5 FM, the Integrity Station. The radio man is here. I know you are there, right? Just stay on. Stay tuned. Don't go away. Hey, let me have a cup of water and I will be back. You have
we are identifying them, and we are employing various strategies, kinetic and non-kinetic. Non-kinetic with the artisanal, the so-called lower rungs of the ladder of illegal mining. And those ones, as part of my 7-point agenda, I gave an ultimatum of 30 days, which was extended another 30 days, that they should form themselves into cooperatives. Because, as I said earlier on, every Nigerian has a right to life, has a right to basic necessities of life. And so, if government cannot provide access to these basic necessities, we cannot drive people into the bush, or we can't push them into the sea. So those of them who are so-called illegal miners, but petty illegal miners, we have encouraged them to form themselves into cooperatives so that they can be formalized and do their businesses legitimately and a legitimate living. And then, because they would have become structures, formalized structures, government can then identify them and then derive the necessary royalties and taxes therefrom. These royalties.
State Affairs with Edmond Obilo is live. In the global village of conflicting ideologies and complexities, understanding systems and schemes through awareness and social reconstruction becomes expedient.
They never told you how you offended them? I'm not on trial, so I can't go before
Join the radio man, Edmond Obilo, on State Affairs for local and international politics, security, extensive economic analysis, interviews, and world power play.
Nigerians must choose the path they want to follow. Follow the same looters and sponsors of violence who control the political structures or encourage the formation of a new leadership team.
Be a global citizen and join the radio revolution on State Affairs. State Affairs with Edmond Obilo. Radio just got deeper.
Let's look at the roles of aliens, especially Chinese. I've been hearing Chinese. Are the Chinese controlling the mining sector in Nigeria?
I will be very honest with you. What you have in Nigeria is like the proverbial voice of Jacob and of Esau scenario. Again, taking back to the example I just cited for you about a mining grant that I applied for in Kogi State. Many of them come with locals fronting for them. And let me show you, Edmond, many of those locals are prominent people with influence in society, like this example I cited for you, Edmond, a retired federal director in the ministry fronting for a Chinese company. And that's what you have. So many of them, because one, they have access to cheap capital, two, they have access to equipment, three, many of the products after being extracted end up with them. And then again, the sad in Edmond is that many of these things get extracted and exported raw. And then, that is great injustice to our economy, Edmond. Let me paint another scenario, Edmond. By adding value to some minerals, you can have 5, 6, 7 times the value. Just by adding value. That doesn't need too much of high technology. You understand what I mean, Edmond?
Yes.
So, but the Chinese man will want to get it because you get it wrong. Let me paint quickly. Let me paint another scenario again. He buys from locals or he mines and tells you it's crude. He knows that once he does some small processing, he can get 6, 7 times that value. So for him, it's a win-win. But for us, Edmond, for the community, for the country, it's a big loss.
Apart from the Chinese.
And that is what you find in Ghana. But in Ghana, now there's a big problem because they have a more developed, mining sector. They have a problem with that now. Many of their lands are being destroyed by Chinese are coming in. And many of them will come in under the guise of expatriates, but they are no better than just laborers. They bring them in, and then before you know it, they are taking over.
In the case of Ibadan, we heard about Malians. I have heard about Gambians. These aliens, have you heard about Malians, Gambians? What is their role in Nigeria's mining sector?
Of course, yes, Edmond. Let me tell you this again. In Mali, in Gambia, because they don't have crude oil like we do, so mining, they have a longer issue with mining than we do. So they are more knowledgeable about minerals and mining than we do. And many of them are involved in these high-value gemstones. And it's like a cult, Edmond. It's like a cult. So you're not likely to see many of them in industrial minerals. But you find many of them in these high-value gemstones. Because that's the area of expertise. In Mali, in Gambia, they've had decades of experiences with mining gold and the like.
State Affairs with Edmond Obilo is live. In the global village of conflicting ideologies and complexities, understanding systems and schemes through awareness and social reconstruction becomes expedient.
They never told you how you offended them? I'm not on trial, so I can't go before
Join the radio man Edmond Obilo on State Affairs for local and international politics, security, extensive economic analysis, interviews, and world power play.
Nigerians must choose the path they want to follow. Follow the same looters and sponsors of violence who control the political structures or encourage the formation of a new leadership team.
Be a global citizen and join the radio revolution on State Affairs. State Affairs with Edmond Obilo. Radio just got deeper.
State Affairs on Splash 105.5 FM, the Integrity Station. I am Edmond Obilo. I recommend this book to you. It's entitled Africa, a Miner's Canary into the 21st Century. The title of the book is Africa, a Miner's Canary into the 21st Century. From the small countries like the Seychelles to the medium ones like the Ivory Coast and the emerging economies such as South Africa. This book looks at the economic governance and political classes of the African continent, with particular focus on the first decade of the 21st century. The book I'm talking about is Africa, a Miner's Canary into the 21st Century. Once you pick up this book, you get a peek at the varying views of presidents and prime ministers on the one hand, and opposition leaders on the other hand. Lifestyles of the working class champions and the peasants are also covered in this book. Africa, a Miner's Canary into the 21st Century, is a product of the author's numerous travels through the length and breadth of the continent, either alone or in the company of a former African leader, President John Kufuor of Ghana. The insight is simply unique. The author of the book is Ivor Agyemangua. Ivor Agyemangua. The foreword of the book is written by Professor Tony Falola. Get this book and feel the value of book lifting your spirit up. If you read this book, you will be inspired to be an agent of economic redemption, an agent of political redemption. And as you do that, you will reap the reward of that spirit of redemption, and you are able to lift yourself up the ladder of the economy, no matter the obstacles. That is the value of reading. It lifts you up. When people see negative, you will be seen positive, and you become that agent of change. Read this book by Ivor Agyemangua. You'll find it on udarabooks.com. udarabooks.com. You can also get it through my WhatsApp number, 080 309 18 449. You can get the book on my WhatsApp number 080 999 18449. Don't underrate the power of reading. On this program, I have recommended various titles to you. Let's go through some of them. I've recommended this book, Why Not? Citizenship, State Capture, Creeping Fascism, and Criminal Hijack of Politics in Nigeria, a book written by Professor Pat Utomi. Read it and feel the vibe. I have also recommended to you a book by Wangari Maathai, The Challenge for Africa. Visit udarabooks.com and find this title. I have also recommended The Pan-African Pantheon, Prophets, Poets, and Philosophers. What about the book My Participation by B.C. Akonde? Do you have a copy of the book The Looting Machine? Warlords, Oligarchs, Corporations, Smugglers, and the Theft of Africa's Wealth. That's partly what we are talking about in mining. It is the theft of Africans' wealth. You will find these books on udarabooks.com or through my WhatsApp numbers. Which other books have I recommended over time? Nigeria on Gunpowder, The Climax of Misrule by Victor Taiwo. Sweet political book. It will lift your mind and position you for redemption, economic redemption, political redemption. That is what we need, the power of books. I have recommended this lecture to you, Political Lies and Lying to the Public by Professor John Ayuade, classic lecture. I said I was going to play that interview for you. I'm yet to play it. I will still play that interview. Political Lies and Lying to the Public. We analyze that lecture, a Billy Dudley lecture. You get that work on udarabooks.com. What about this book, Crisis of Governance in Nigeria by Professor Ben Nwabueze? Hey, good book. The Democratization of Africa, Dynamics and Trends, a book edited by Alexis Antaika. Hey, read that book. Another sweet book is Power, Development, and Institutions in Africa. Power, Development, and Institutions in Africa, a book edited by Sim Mandla Zondi and Seges Kamga. Have you read this book, Readings in Nigerian Government and Politics? Readings in Nigerian Government and Politics, edited by Adeoye Akinsoya and John Ayuade. Classic, lovely. Another book I think you should read about politics and power is this one, Nigeria, Descent into Anarchy and Chaos. Nigeria, Descent into Anarchy and Chaos, edited by John Ayuade and Professor Adeoye Akinsoya and Olatunde Ojo. Beautiful book. Have you read Soldiers of Fortune? Nigerian Politics from Buhari to Babangida, 1983 to 1993. A book written by Mark Siolun. Get that book and see what happens to your understanding of politics and power. Another book I think you should read, in fact, you should read this one, Exploitation and Instability in Nigeria, The Oka Coup in Perspective, The Oka Coup in Perspective, by Sowaribi Tolufari. Exploitation and Instability in Nigeria, The Oka Coup in Perspective by Sowaribi Tolafari. Great writing. What about this classic by Professor Omo Omori? It is entitled The Tale of June 12, The Betrayal of the Democratic Rights of Nigerians. With the book, I traveled with it. I traveled with that book. And since I traveled, I have read about 15 books. I have read about 15 books since I traveled out of Nigeria. 15 quality books. In fact, I have reread Why Nations Fail by Darren Acemoglu and James Robinson. I have reread it. In fact, I was reading it throughout last night, just refreshing my thought. And when you buy a book, don't say because you have read it once, it is over. No. I read a book again, and again. For me, a book is a research material. I always come back to them. And you mustn't finish it at a go. You can read 50 pages, keep it, move to the next, come back to it. You will get a new understanding of the book. And you can finish it at a go. I told you the books I'm reading at the moment. The 2 new books on my table. You know, I have been avoiding these books for a long time. But I said, Edmund, why you see these books all the time? Why don't you read this book? Shoe Dog, Philip Knight, and Shoemaker by Joe Foster. Those are the ones I'm reading at the moment. Have you read this book, The Jonathan Presidency? The Sophomore Year, edited by John Ayoade, Adeoye Akinsoya, and Olatunde Ojo. The Jonathan Presidency, revealing 3 professors editing a book. You know that book is a classic. Next week, I'll tell you about more books. If you want to get these books, visit udarabooks.com. udarabooks.com. You can also get them through my WhatsApp numbers. 08039-18449. The program is State Affairs on Splash 105.5 FM, the Integrity Station. Talking about mining and banditry, the last person I spoke to before I reviewed some of those books is Professor Isaac Albert. Now, I want us to listen to Colonel Wilson Ejide, retired. Dr. Wilson Ejide is an industrial organizational psychologist and a resource expert. He is a retired colonel of the Nigerian Army Infantry and a product of the Nigerian Defense Academy, NDA, as well as the National Defense College. He has this to say about mining. After that, I'll take you to a discourse between the Minister of Solid Minerals, Dele Alake, and the House of Representatives. The program is State Affairs. You have talked about the different dimensions to this conflict. You mentioned religion, ethnicity, and there is also politics and the question of land grabbing. those in Plateau are saying that a certain tribe are attacking them, occupying their lands, killing them, displacing them. And as we speak, they say these attackers, once they come in, they settle down in the displaced communities.
If leadership requires that we should have peace, that there should be fairness and equity, of course, they will put all effort in that direction. But as you well know, we have the issue of Ruga, which is all about this land grabbing thing. But actually, beyond the land grabbing concept, it's also the other aspect of it. I just saw a video about 2 days ago, released by a lady, where she talked about the fact that in all of these lands, in the plateau, where this land grabbing is going on, it's not only about farming. There are also precious minerals. So the purpose of these people who are coming in to dislocate people is to be able to mine illegally. I know that the question of mining in Nigeria has been brought to the front burner recently, where people have asked questions. Why should the oil in the Niger Delta be for all of us and the gold in Zapata be for a set of people? So illegal mining is taking place at an astronomical rate, and part of this land grabbing is also to perpetrate this act of illegal mining, which means there must be sponsors. No doubt there are sponsors. And this is where a focused leadership should look at and ensure that an end is put into it. I don't think that it's rocket science. I believe that if there is commitment, there is genuine commitment and motivation to do what is right, these bandits, these terrorists, this insurgent can be dealt with. But I don't think we have that leadership at the present. So that is where effort should be, direction should be, effort should be looked into.
State Affairs with Edmond Obilo is live.
That's Dr. Wilson Ejide there. The points on insecurity in mining communities was elaborated on by the Minister of Solid Minerals Development, Dr. Oladile Alake, at the National Assembly recently. He issued a warning to local and foreign operators who sponsor banditry in order to execute illegal mining in the country. Let's go to the National Assembly.
Here we go!
State Affairs with Edmond Obilo is live. Stay tuned.
We are identifying them and we are employing various strategies, kinetic and non-kinetic. Non-kinetic with the artisanal, the so-called lower rungs of the ladder of illegal mining. And those ones, as part of my 7-point agenda, I gave an ultimatum of 30 days, which was extended another 30 days, that they should form themselves into cooperatives. Because, as I said earlier on, nobody, every Nigerian has a right to life, has a right to basic necessities of life. And so, if government cannot provide access to these basic necessities, we cannot drive people into the bush, or we can't push them into the sea. So those of them who are so-called illegal miners, but petty illegal miners, we have encouraged them to form themselves into cooperatives so that they can be formalized and do their businesses legitimately and a legitimate living. And then, because they would have become structures, formalized structures, government can then identify them and then derive the necessary royalties and taxes therefrom. These royalties and taxes hitherto were lost to government because government will be chasing individual illegal miners all over the place. But because we have We have striven to legitimize them and make them responsible citizens of Nigeria. And in legitimate means, they are also further encouraged. And I can announce to you, sirs, that within the period I announced that measure, the policy, and now over 50 cooperative societies have been formed. The first challenge we realized, which is part of my 7-point agenda, is that of security. You are all aware, honorable members, of the security situation in those areas where we have minerals and in some parts of our nation. Now, that security situation had become so debilitating to the successful execution and promotion of that solid mineral sector. So we needed to think outside the box. Hitherto, it had always been deploying military personnel, police personnel, security agencies in general, combat of these flashpoints. But upon closer scrutiny and assiduous research, we discover that Nigeria has a very wide landscape. And without us rejigging the security architecture in place and injecting a larger dose or measure of technology into it, we will be deceiving ourselves. We will be scratching the issue on the surface. So I embarked on interministerial meetings, meeting with the ministers of defense, both of them, meeting with the chief of army staff, meeting with the national security advisor, meeting with all the security agencies, their heads, with a view to coming up with a very foolproof security architecture that can help us or enable us to achieve that objective of clearing the insecurities in our mining areas. And one pernicious discovery that we made, Mr. Chairman, is that a lot of these banditries, terrorisms, insecurities that we associate with this sector are actually sponsored by illegal miners. Now, these illegal miners are not your artisanal miners. They are not the people who pick gold rusts on the ground. No. These are heavy, powerful individuals in our country. And they are Nigerians. They are not foreigners. Yes, you can see foreigners as symptoms, but the foreigners are not the diseases. Nigerians are the powers behind those foreigners that you see on the streets.
Yes, Delia Laki there, Minister of Solid Minerals Development. You see, I have to leave it at that. I was talking about playing an interview at 9 p.m. tomorrow. I just realized Nigeria is playing its football game tomorrow. So I have moved that streaming to Monday night at 9 p.m. Monday 9 p.m. So enjoy Nigeria's game tomorrow. I will not be watching, but I will be happy if Nigeria wins. I just want to rest. Huh? Nigeria, I wish you well. Win. Bosun, thank you. I am Edmond Obilo. Next week is another time on State Affairs. Bye-bye.